Yes, the human race is f***ed. And the best part is, we don't need to wait for a zombie apocalypse, Arnold Schwarzenegger, or allergies from pig bristle brushes before that happens. We are doing it to ourselves. Now, I've spoken before at length about fake news, which some of you watched, thank you very much, and the real-life consequences of not fact-checking. Today in particular, I want to talk about the anti-vaxxer movement and the real-life consequences which are, well, death in the worst-case scenario. It's pertinent to talk about it at this time because 2017 could be the year where the anti-vaxxer movement could very well rise to prominence. Thanks in part to President Alec Baldwin and tweets like this, and the perfect storm of increased proliferation of fake news and dip who are simply too lazy to fact-check their Facebook posts before sharing. But the thing about immunizations is that if enough people aren't vaccinated, the risk of an outbreak is very real. And unlike bad haircuts and bad presidents, you can't get rid of it after 4 years. Because as the saying goes, you can't unring a bell. Take the case of measles. In 2016, measles cases in Malaysia as of the first week of June increased by 340%, according to Health Department Director General Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah. He said it was because children were not immunized to the disease. And let's not forget that in 2015, the US saw its first death from measles in 12 years because of falling vaccination rates. Even scarier, according to this piece from the New York Times, written by a pediatrician, he said that when a percentage of children in a community who have received the measles vaccine falls below 90 to 95%, you can expect to see major outbreaks. So, why are parents buying into the anti-vaxxer movement? Well, the main argument that is always trotted out is that vaccines somehow cause autism, while some believe that it's also the bogeyman for everything, from increased cases of eczema, it's not, to aliens, Will Smith killed them all, to why that pretty lady at the bar told you to stop touching her or she would call the cops. Because you're a pig. Then there are those conspiracy theorists who like to think that vaccines are simply a way for Big Pharma to pad their bottom line. And in Malaysia specifically, there was this fear that the vaccines contain pig DNA. So let's break that down. When people talk about how vaccines cause autism, it normally links back to this man, Andrew Wakefield. In 1998, he published a study describing a link between the MMR vaccine and autism, a study that was eventually debunked by other scientists that couldn't replicate his findings. The very journal he had published that study in retracted it, and the very well-regarded British Medical Journal considered it fraudulent. However, if you want research about how vaccines don't cause autism, I can link you to the US Center for Disease Control, the Autism Science Foundation, and literally every doctor you've ever met in your life. But what about the halal issue then? Well, according to that Channel News Asia story, our own doctors are saying the same, that any vaccine available here in Malaysia is permissible. And that comes not only from the National Fatwa Council, but also from religious councils all over the world. And yet, even with all that, I can't believe that we're still even having this conversation. Didn't you hear what I said earlier? Measles are up 340% because some of you believed a forwarded email instead of your doctor, who went to medical school for 8 years. Maybe Jimmy Kimmel had the right idea when he said this.
If you are one of those people who knows more than doctors, that's fine, no vaccinations, but you're not allowed to go to the doctor anymore. Okay? Why would you even want to go to a doctor who knows less than you do? So, if you fall and you cut your head open, you will not be admitted to the emergency room. Stay at home, find that sewing kit you stole from the Marriott, and stitch it up yourself, Doc.
Look, if you're going to keep sharing things that you haven't verified from several sources, then take me off your FB list, okay? I will hold nothing against you. But if you're going to, you better bloody well make sure that when I ask you for proof, your answer isn't simply to just Google it. Because if it affects just your own kids, that's fine. But when you are infecting other people's kids and putting their lives in danger, that is when you are simply being a big But hey, since all of you anti-vaxxers seem to believe emails and fake doctors rather than real ones, why not take advice from this handsome Golden Globe winning fake doctor?
You know another really good business? Teeny tiny baby coffins. You can get them in frog green, fire engine red. Really. The antibodies in Yummy Mummy only protect the kid for 6 months, which is why these companies think they can gouge you. They think that you'll spend whatever they ask to keep your kid alive. Want to change things? Prove them wrong. A few hundred parents like you decide they'd rather let their kid die than cough up $40 for a vaccination. Believe me, prices will drop really fast.
Your doctor won't say this to you, so I will. Stop thinking you are a special snowflake parent and get your damn kid vaccinated. Because if I turn into a zombie due to a mutated measles outbreak, it's your ass I'm coming for. Just saying.